I've definitely suffered with this. Felt like I wasn't worthy, or felt that I was small, or felt that I couldn't make things happen, or had all these crazy beliefs that would hold me back.
And when I was driving it home, I got hit, Jack, with the rankest anxiety. And I had anxiety for the whole drive. It basically eroded my enjoyment of even getting my dream car.
Don't connect your self-worth to your prices. Don't even say those two words in the same sentence. Keep them completely separate. They have nothing to do with each other.
And I got her to change her price from $10 to $250. Hi, I'm Dave Conway, and I'm here with my wife, Jacqueline. Welcome to the 30-Day Year. On this podcast, we're sharing stories, ideas, and philosophies to show you what it takes to turn your annual income into your monthly income. I've learned that the first step to creating a 30-day year is entertaining new ideas that might at first appear strange or even laughable. But stick with us as we reveal that this idea is a very real way to build success. Our plan is to spark curiosity into what you're capable of achieving by exploring ideas around freedom, contribution, work, life, everything. The content may even disturb your perception of life a bit too, which we hope it does. This podcast is not about us, it's all about you. So sit back, relax, and come in with an open mind. Welcome to the 30-Day Year.
We're getting into what I'd consider a meaty, sensitive topic today. It's worthiness. And the image that comes to mind when I start to think about worthiness is Wayne's World, with Wayne and Garth on their knees in front of Alice Cooper in Milwaukee, I want to say. And they're like, we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
We're not worthy.
We're scum.
Did they call themselves scum?
I'm pretty sure they call themselves scum. And they capture that feeling inside so well that I think lots of human beings have of feeling unworthy. In that case, it's absolutely hilarious. But I would say in everyday life, not so hilarious, and can be a huge blocker to success. And in the 30-Day Year philosophy, we're helping people create a whole new life. And it's not just by addition, it's by multiplication. It's by completely overhauling their thought process and their results and the way they do things. And it's a wholesale change. So feeling a sense of lack of worth, I think, is just a massive thing to talk about. And I know you got stories, you got things to share on this topic that can help a lot of people unlock maybe some of those worthiness issues. And one thing I think is important is, a definition of self-worth. So we did some research on this. So the definition of self-worth is the internal sense of being good enough, deserving of love and belonging. And I think there's a serious difference between self-worth and, say, confidence. And I want to hear your opinion on that. Do you agree that there's a big difference? And what differences do you see?
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference. When I first started going for my 30-day year, I would consider myself a confident person. You've known me now for 15 years, Jack.
I've always known you to be confident. If there was one word that comes to mind when I think of you, it's actually confident.
My parents used to call me Little Mr. Confidence.
Oh, geez. That's so good. That's too much for me right now.
I
love that.
And when my mom's friends back in Ireland used to see me in the stroller,
yeah,
they call me Little Gorgeous Baby.
Oh, God. I can see it. I went to your hometown. I've been there. I've seen the streets. I can imagine, I can totally picture this. And, just a quick little anecdote. When we knew each other for quite a while, probably 10 years. But I remember when we really kind of met for the first time. It was in an art class. I'll never forget this. I was expecting my friend Becky to walk in. She was my coworker at the time, and we'd made this pact that we were going to take this art class together because we were in marketing. We were going to get more artsy and just understand art better. And she texted me and was like, I can't make it. There's no room left in the class. And I was like, oh, man. And it was past the time it started. But 20 minutes later, because that's usually how late you are for things, you rolled in, you looked at me and you were like, oh, hey, we're supposed to meet up right now. You were
Mr. Confidence walked in.
Mr. Confidence totally walked in. And you so acted like we were meant to meet up. And then that's how we really became friends and then ultimately started dating and everything. So you've always been confident.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between confidence and self-worth because I would consider myself a confident person. I don't know if I've ever lacked it. And it was actually a real surprise to me a few months in. It was about a year and a half in to my 30-day year journey did I discover that I had self-worth problems. And how it came about was I was down in Arizona. I was in a small training group with Bob Proctor because I used to work on the coaching team there. And he was going around the room asking everybody, what kind of car do you want? And people were like picking him, and I was like, oh, he's just setting us up. He was always doing that. He was always like, yeah, like what's something really big that you want or you want to bring into your life? And then you tell him, and then once you told him, he'd like put you in a corner and basically make you do it, right? And I remember there was a lady that worked with us, Monica. And
do you know what? I'm sorry. This is like super extreme truth or dare.
That's right.
It's like Bob Proctor is playing super, super extreme truth or dare with you guys.
Life and death. So
Life and death.
Russian roulette.
Oh my God. That's totally what happened.
And I remember Monica and her husband, they wanted a Ferrari. And at that time, I thought I wanted a Jaguar F-Type. I remember when you and I lived in this one neighborhood in our city called Evergreen, I was driving out of it and I saw this Jaguar F-Type. And this was about 4 years prior to Bob asking me what kind of car I wanted. So I said, I want a Jaguar F-Type. And stuck in my mind ever since I saw it. And he's like, all right, go get it. But he said to me, he's like, but with you, you're not allowed to borrow the money. You got to earn all of it cash, and you got to go pay for it in full. So at that time, he was helping me break a cash poor paradigm. I was always borrowing money to, robbing Peter to save Paul, or what is it?
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, basically that's what I was always doing.
Yeah.
And anyway, about 4 months later, I ended up finding my car that I wanted, and I earned all the money, and I found it in a different city, and I flew out there, and I bought the car. I didn't have any fear buying the car. I didn't have any fear paying for it in full. I discovered along the journey that I didn't actually want an F-Type. I actually liked the Jaguar XKR, which is more of a GT. I'm a GT man, which I discovered too during the process. And so I really had no anxiety. I was actually very excited about it. But then when I got the car and I was driving it home, it was about a 5-hour drive home. And when I was driving it home, I got hit, Jack, with the rankest anxiety. And I had anxiety for the whole drive. It basically like eroded my enjoyment of even getting my dream car. And I had anxiety for the next couple of days. And when I went to work, that was on a Saturday. And when I went to work on the Monday, we're in a team meeting, and I was saying, hey, I went through the terror barrier. And for those of you that don't know what the terror barrier is, that is when you feel fear, but you do it anyway. So an example would be jumping out of an airplane. Like you're gonna go skydiving. You're like, yeah, let's do it. But then when you're actually time to jump, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to. That's the terror barrier.
Yeah.
And I was talking about the anxiety. And in that meeting, Bob and Arash said to me, that's not the terror barrier. That's a self-worth problem. And that was shocking to me because I didn't know I had a self-worth issue. I thought I labeled what I was going through, which was a fear, wrongly. And Bob said to me, there's something in you that believes that you're not worthy of nice things.
Wasn't in your paradigm.
Yeah. He said, there's some belief in you that you're not worthy of nice things. There's something in you that is saying, this is beyond you, the scope of you. It may be for other people, but it's not for you. And he said, you don't want to brush that aside and forget about it. He said, you want to spend time in it and you want to think about it. I will tell you right now, purchasing that car has been to date one of the most valuable things I've ever done in my entire life. And the value did not come from the car. It came from the realization that I had a self-worth problem.
It's really interesting. This is the dark side of the worthiness conversation that we spoke of earlier. It's all fun and games to bow down in front of Alice Cooper, but it's quite another to drive home your dream car when inside you don't feel like you're worthy of it. And that is rattling. So how did you move forward from there? What did you do to kind of improve your self-worth going forward?
Well, I started to write it out. Like he told me to like basically take an inventory, you know, like really dig into it and see what's that all about. And I started to see, like I began to identify some potential sources that I got it from. It led me to realize that there was some part of me that really didn't believe that there's an infinite supply, that there's, you know, plenty to go around. There was a belief, unconscious belief that I had that I had to be small to get where I wanted to go. And it was an unfolding process. It was actually even the next year I started reading an essay called The Spirit of Opulence by Thomas Troward. And that was just even more of the unfoldment and the releasing and the improving of my self-image.
So do you think that it's just the awareness of it that helped you overcome it? Or was it just time? Like it's almost like this thing happened, you're driving, you're rattled, someone points out to you that, hey, like that's self-worth. That's not terror barrier. That's not just like the will pushing you through a tough, sticky situation. So was it just a matter of time to let that open up for you, would you say, as opposed to like hardcore work? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I would say that. So it was like the awareness, you know, all change is preceded by awareness. So it was the awareness of it that started the unfolding or the thawing process. And I'm a big advocate when I coach people. I'm always telling them to put themselves into physical environments that are beyond what they're accustomed to. And I guess you could call it like materialism. It could be like, oh, that's like materialistic, you know?
Right.
And it's got nothing to do with that. It's really to find out, am I uncomfortable around nice things? Is luxury accessible for me? And I found that if you do it through physical objects, through physical environments, like a car, like a trip, like staying in a glamorous hotel, buying an expensive watch or jacket or purse or dress or whatever it is, spending more on something, and it might seem irresponsible at first. I've had many clients be like, oh, well, this is irresponsible. Where's the line between irresponsible and growth, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there isn't one. You just are always growing, right? And you find out more and more about yourself.
Yeah.
So as you start to progress with the 30-day year philosophy, the key is going to lie in you placing yourself in environments that you are not accustomed to. Then you're going to find out how you feel in those environments. I remember when you and I first flew out the front of the airplane.
I was going to share this, actually.
Well, go ahead. You share it.
Yeah, because I remember the first few times we flew in like first class or premium or whatever it's called, wherever you fly. And you're sitting like first few seats. They're bigger seats. There's extra amenities. Like, let's get real though. Like, they're not that much crazier than the rest of the plane.
When people post, like, oh, here's my first class dinner. It's like, that is like, McDonald's is better than that. Like, that's nothing to be bragging about, everybody.
I know. It's like, it's nice, but I mean, let's not go crazy. It's not like you're at like a luxury steakhouse in Scottsdale or something like that. Like, it is what it is. But it is better. The experience is elevated.
It's
absolutely. Better. And you were a little more comfortable.
Significantly more comfortable.
There's just more leg room, etc. So I remember sitting up there the first, probably 10 trips. Probably 10. And I would have felt, I used to feel guilt. I'd watch like my people, like, hey, my people, my econs, you know, my economies, like watch them walk by. And I'd be like, oh, like I've like abandoned my people. Like, who am I? I'm so grand now that I have to sit up here. I can't sit back with my econs anymore.
Right.
That's how I felt for a long time. And I actually couldn't look at anybody. I had to like look away because I was like, felt shame, embarrassment.
Yeah,
Guilt. Yeah, like all the worst emotions a person can feel. And all I did was just invest a little more money to sit at the front.
Just improve your life a bit.
Just to be a little more comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I have felt all of this like guilt around it. I mean, I'm probably 50-some flights deep now, and I don't feel that way anymore. I feel perfectly fine at the front. If I sit further back, I don't, though, which is interesting. Because, like, when I do sit in, like, economy, I do feel kind of like, oh, this sucks. Like, I hate it's so tight.
It's like getting crawled on by maggots.
Exactly. And, like, there's not enough space. Like, you're so close to the seat in front of you. It's just not even close. It is better at the front. But, like, it's so true. You have to get used to those different environments, the more elevated environments. And you will get accustomed to it. You will get used to it. But you have to be willing to spend the money to do it. It's a very fine line. Like there's a fine line between just spending irresponsibly and then accepting things that are nicer into your life.
That's right. So it
interesting.
moves it from like theory. It moves it from like the theory of like, oh, I'd really love that. But when you actually are in the physical presence of the thing, you'll feel it. That's when you really start to know what's going on inside your subconscious mind, what your belief system really is. Because I would have been walking around. This happened, and when did that happen? It was about the end of 2018. So into 2019 is when I got the car. And so at that time, I would have been about 35. So I started walking around for, I'm going to assume, potentially since I was born, or at least since I was 5 years old, 30 years, totally oblivious that I had a self-worth issue.
Right. That's wild, because I love kind of looking at definitions, because I think this can help bring some clarity around this. Because the definition of confidence in like the Webster's Dictionary is a feeling of self-assurance from appreciating your abilities or qualities. So it's connected to something that you possess or you're able to do, which is interesting. And it's self-assurance. And then with self-worth, it's rooted in inherent value. And it's not tied to accomplishments or external validation. It comes from within. It's like self-love. It's like actually loving yourself and feeling worthy of a great life or more comforts and more luxury. And just knowing that I'm a human being. Of course I'm allowed to enjoy those things, right? And then confidence being, I am self-assured in who I am. I know I'm capable of things, and I'm going to be willing to put myself out there and take my beatings if I have to.
I think that like people want to understand like money too. Like money does two things. Number one, it buys comfort. Mm-hmm. The more money you have, the more comfortable you can become. The second thing it does is it buys service. So it can buy service through, if you had extra money and you donated some money to a charity, you'd be buying the services of the people that work at that charity. So money buys service, and that's it. It buys comfort, it buys service. And the more money you have, the more comfort you can have, and the more service you can buy.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. And I know for you, I think for everybody, I mean, I'm going to single you out because you're right here in front of me. But I know that there's an interesting tie and connection between self-worth and pricing. And being comfortable charging a certain price point based upon the value you're delivering, right? And I know lots of people struggle with this. I know you've helped a lot of people navigate this, but I want to hear your story because I think it's a really compelling story.
Yeah, well, when I first started coaching, I was charging $2,000. And after maybe half a year or so, I got it up to $5,000 for the same thing. Mm-hmm. And that shift was a little scary, but it wasn't too bad.
It was like natural.
It was natural. And then I remember thinking, it'd be really cool to charge $10,000.
Whoa. That'd be so wild.
That would be like insane.
You'd be flying so many first class.
Oh man, I'd be like the richest man in the world. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking like, well, that'd be pretty cool to be able to charge $10,000. And I attracted this person who messaged me and said, hey, I noticed that you work with Bob Proctor and I'd love to chat. And so I went for coffee with this person and it was a great coffee. And I ended up doing another meeting with her, and it was going to be like an actual talk on hiring me. And I remember when I was leaving, I remember you yelling out the door.
Yeah, I know.
Know your worth.
Know your worth, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going to try and mimic Jack. Know your worth, Dave. Know your worth.
Yeah, that was better than the first one.
Yeah, I sound like a grizzly man.
Yeah.
Yeah, know your worth. Know your worth. And I was like, driving there, know my worth, $10,000.
Yeah.
And when I said the price was $10,000, and the person was like, yeah, okay. So I'm building it.
Didn't phase her.
No,
Didn't phase her at all.
No, and it was worth. It's my everything I do now is worth more. Mm-hmm. In the book The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles has a line in there that says, "Give everyone more in use value than you take from them in cash value."
Yes.
So give everybody more in use value than you take from them in cash value. And at that time, my coaching was worth to the client a hell of a lot more than 10 grand.
Yeah.
And since then, charged north of six figures for
coaching
and stuff now.
Yeah.
But that was a huge day.
That was a moment.
It was a moment because it was like where your ability, your actual self-worth, where you're actually going, sometimes I think sometimes our pricing needs to catch up to it.
Yeah.
And in order to change pricing, for some of us that can, we can use affirmation to do that. So I remember this one gentleman I met down in Austin, Texas, and he was charging a couple grand for his services. And I said, well, I think looking at it, I think it's worth like $5,000. And he was like, whoa, like, ooh, like, whoa, like what, $5,000? It's like, I said, yeah, I think you're worth $5,000. And I gave him an affirmation, and this is what it was. I'm so happy and grateful now that my products and services, or for him services, my services are worth more than $5,000. I'm so happy and grateful now that my services are worth more than $5,000.
Right.
And I said, but you change your price to $5,000. Do you know, within 72 hours, that guy had sold 3 of the exact same service.
Right.
Not for $2,000 anymore, but for $5,000.
Yeah.
And when I first started coaching early in my career as well, there's a lady, and I was having this coaching call with her, and she was a massage therapist. And every time she talked about massage therapy, like, it was fine. Like, it was just a job for her. I didn't find any negative energy behind it or any, like, enthusiasm or amazing excitement behind the idea either.
Right.
And however, I learned about her that she used to run like a puppy academy, and she used to train dogs. And every time she talked about the dog training, she just, like, literally, she lit up like a Christmas tree. Her energy would change so fast. And I started to ask her about it. I was like, well, why don't you do more of the puppy training? Why don't you spend more time doing that? And then she said, there's no money in training dogs. And I was like, oh my God, are you out of your mind?
Oh my God. There's
like,
a lot of money in training dogs.
I know some people that wouldn't give $1 to save their own mother. But if their dog got sick, or their cat, or their rabbit, they'd be throwing $5,000 at the vet or whatever to save it.
Yeah.
I think I don't think there's many poor vets out there either. Like, the vet game, I think, is running strong right now.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, how much did you used to charge if you thought there was no money in it? And she used to charge, I believe it was $10 an hour for a group of 8.
Yeah,
so
it's wild.
Yeah, and then she used to run like 8 sessions or something. So it was like $80.
Right.
And I got her to change her price from $10 to $250. It was a 25x, went from $10 to $250.
Okay.
$250 a class. So I gave her an affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that my puppy training is worth more than $250. So you had to condition the mind to believe that her services are worth more than that. So we're not trying to match it, because remember what Wallace D. Waddell said, I'm giving more to you in use value than I'm taking from you in cash value. So it's worth more than $250, worth more than $250. And within a week, that lady had sold 8 people into her classes, and she earned $2,000 when previously she would have made $80 for that.
Wow.
She thanked me. I met her like about a year and a half later, and she thanked me. She said, you taught me how to earn money. You taught me how to make more money.
That's very cool. I think it's interesting because, sometimes there's like, and not to get too business techie here, because I know that's not our mission here, but there's like a certain appetite a market will tolerate for the pricing of something, right? And I think this like idea of self-worth is deeply connected to those entrepreneurs, high achievers, where their output is like the service delivery. And I think this self-worth piece is a huge part of that in those kinds of businesses. And if you have a business that's maybe like product-based, it's a little different, right? There are different things that might come up. And so it's so tricky because it's like, do you base it on, I'm worth this, so I should charge that? But what you're saying, what I think I'm hearing you say, is that it's really based on the value you deliver, and you always go beyond what you deliver. But then it's also having this like self-assured quality within that lets you charge what you know it is, like what you know is fair.
Sometimes your pricing needs to catch up with actually what you're producing too.
It's also incredible what happens in terms of who you attract once the price changes. Like the types
Yeah.
of people that you start to work with dramatically change. When the price went from $10 to $250, I'm sure she had lots, like different kinds of people coming, and perhaps more committed people because they paid more money to be there. You know, it's just so interesting. Pricing is so interesting to me.
Exactly. Like I asked her when she sold out the 8 spots, I asked her, I was like, where'd these people come from? Because remember, she said there's no
Yes.
money in puppies.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's insane. And I was like, where these people come from? Like, did they drop from the sky? Were they aliens? Like, how old were they? Were they just born like yesterday? And she's like, no, they're all like in my city. I said, exactly. I was like, they've always been there. You weren't there. And you got no idea what you're doing to yourself, how much money and how much growth you're leaving on the table. And it's not just about money. It's about just knowing your worth. Like, just like you said to me, like knowing your worth. And I think sometimes I've coached people where their price needs to catch up to their worth. Like the
Right.
gentleman, like that's both of these people, the gentleman in Austin, his value that he was giving, his price had to go up because the value was so immense. Same with the dog trainer. And then same with me.
Yes.
So it's usually where you aren't identifying, you're not realizing how good you actually are. Then I've seen lunatics on the other spectrum.
I was just going to ask, I was like, have you seen the reverse where someone's like totally off at the ferries, charging crazy amounts and not
Jack,
delivering?
let's just put it this way. There's like nothing I haven't seen yet. There's like nothing I haven't seen. I've seen it all.
Just put
I've
it on a
seen it all.
t-shirt, y'all. Like, he's seen it all. Don't even try.
I've seen it all and I've heard it all.
I saw a rattlesnake try to sell insurance once. Like, I've seen it all.
Yeah, and then sometimes you'll come across people that think their worth should be compensated more
Right.
than they're actually receiving, and they get handed smackdown pretty
For
fast there
sure.
too.
The universe has a way of correcting any imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
If there is somebody out there, and we've probably all experienced this, where you see someone that's just charging like insane prices. I remember you hired a copywriter once. This still blows my mind. He wasn't a full-time copywriter. I think he was helping you with a book or something.
Oh, right.
And I'm pretty sure you paid this guy something crazy like 10 grand for like 2 hours. And I was like, what? He's not even a full-time copywriter, but he's written books before. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Nothing against this guy. Maybe he was worth it. But I was just, at the time, I was like, I don't feel like that's right. Like the amount of money he charged you for what he delivered, I think he gave you like a marked up sheet with some like couple like grammar corrections, and the amount of money you paid, I was like, this is just not right. This is
Those
crazy.
relationships usually end.
Anyway.
And well, there's another one where there's a guy who wanted $20,000 an email.
$20,000 for an email?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And hey,
My
maybe,
goodness.
man. Maybe you're worth it. But
Oh, man,
I
I
said
just
to him,
don't-
well, I just don't got, 100 million people to email today that would even come close to
Paying itself.
paying.
For
Yeah.
itself, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll find you'll experience it all different kinds. And
Yeah.
you and I've went through it multiple times.
Yeah. I've also heard like kind of theory around this where people say, don't connect your self-worth to your prices. Be very like, don't even say those two words in the same sentence. Like keep them completely separate. They have nothing to do with each other. There's like the pricing of your business, and then there's like how you feel about yourself, and don't mix. And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, results never lie. So I know there's some, I don't know what you'd call it, energy or philosophy or chatter, chatter maybe.
Chatter, I like that word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chatter out there in the world where it's like, I'm worth it or whatever, or, well, just so everybody knows there's a law that governs your income, and it's called the law of compensation. And it's based upon 3 simple things. Number 1, the need for what you do. Like, is there a need for what you do? Is there a market for your product or service? Number 2, your ability to do it. Ability to do what? Your ability to produce the result that your product and service is saying that it can produce. Number 3, the difficulty in replacing you. How hard are you to replace? I've replaced a lot of people at Conway Mentorship with air, with nothing. You're like, well, what do you mean? Well, they weren't doing anything anyway. So if someone's doing nothing, you can replace them with nothing,
Yeah.
And I'm not being like a dink there. I'm just saying that if results are the name of the game, and you got to have performance goals, and you got to produce.
Right.
So when you look at the law of compensation, it's not about how you feel or what you think.
Right.
It's about, are you helping people? Are you getting the results? Or did you just hear like, oh, I'm worthy or whatever? It's like,
Right.
yeah, well, that's fine. And all different kind of topic, because that's the emotional side. And when it comes to human beings, every human being in the eyes of God is the same.
Yeah.
We all have that connection, and we all are valuable. We all are special.
Yeah.
But we all produce different results.
Yes.
And through those results, we all receive different forms of compensation.
I love your answer. I think it's a great answer.
Thank you. I love it too, now that I think about it.
I think it throws a little bit of sand on that chatter fire that I brought up there.
Well, it is ripping around for sure. It's
Yeah.
it's prevalent.
Because
I don't know if it's cooling, but
I
it is
think it
prevalent.
can be dangerous sometimes to remove the human element from conversations like that. Like everything has a human element. And I like what you said about not approaching it so emotionally. Like, oh, I'm worth this. I'm worth this. I charge $20,000 an email because I'm worth it. It's like,
Well, you got to if you
you're-
get demanding, you're in the wrong.
Right.
Like if you're like demanding, like when I was going out to that coffee, like for that one call, like I was trying to catch up with my own value. I was trying to catch up. So I wasn't demanding of the prospect, like, this is what I am, and
Right.
I'm going to do this for you. Like,
Right.
there's no aggression in that.
No.
That's different. If you start getting demanding and
Yes.
arrogant and all these other things,
Yes.
like, so how do you grow your self-worth without
Without
arrogance?
arrogance.
Yeah. How do you do that without arrogance?
I think the law of compensation is the safest way to do it. Like, because the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty in replacing you, if you're always focusing on those 3 steps within your work, your professional work, I really don't think you can lose.
There's a lot of arrogant people that can produce great results.
That's true. That's true. But what is arrogance?
I think arrogance has got to be the most unpleasant character trait of a human being. Like, can you think of anything more annoying than a selfish
It's not
person?
good. It's awful to be around. Yeah. It's frustrating to be around. Yeah. Just to kind of summarize some of these ideas. So we talked about self-worth. It's the belief in our inherent value and worthiness of love and belonging. And I like the idea of worthiness of love and developing your own ability to love yourself. I think there's a lot of power in just identifying that we can all suffer from this, like you did when you're driving your Jaguar. I've definitely suffered with this. Felt like I wasn't worthy, or felt that I was small, or felt that I couldn't make things happen, and had all these crazy beliefs that would hold me back. And it was from doing a simple thing, which was just writing out what I love about myself, kind of neutralized all of that and helped me just look past what was just in front of me and just remember, no, I am strong. I am able to do this. I am worthy. I am great at what I do. Just do it. Don't worry so much.
Yeah, owning it. Own your spiritual
Owning
nature,
it.
owning your own ability. And if you're a person that's always improving, always improving. Like I'll have clients that loop around, they're clients for a bit, and then they leave for 2, 3, 4 years. I don't know where the hell they go out into the wilderness alone. I don't know why they would ever do that, but and some come back.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. And when they come back, they're always like, "Whoa, Dave, you've changed, man. Like, whoa, this is like, you're like better than ever."
Right.
And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, well, of course I am, man. What the hell? I work at it every day.
You should be better.
Yeah, like if you haven't seen me in a year, you probably don't know who I am no more.
Right.
Yeah.
And
damn it, I work
unfortunately,
my ass off. at
That's
it.
right. And
So I was like, Conway, you look really good these days. I said, well, yeah, I'm freaking trying my ass off over here.
right. And I feel like you have chosen a profession in an industry that demands. It demands that of you. You don't have a choice but to improve and get better every year. So if you weren't improving, that would be a problem.
Be a fraud.
You'd be a fraud. Okay. So this is also big. So sometimes we need an ego bursting and an ego boosting. And how do you know how to navigate that? I feel like you have such a great sense of that. And maybe you just pick up intuitively on the way someone is saying something. You can pick up on the energy and and maybe how they're putting themselves out there. But how can we self-identify when we need an ego bursting and an ego boosting?
Well, the key to checking out your own self-worth, as I said, get yourself in environments that kind of will cause you to have to respond. So the subconscious mind will react automatically. So if you got lack of self-worth, you'll experience what I experienced. So you don't know, I'm in the car, I didn't know, and then once I'm in the car, boom, it hit. So it was the environment that did it. So it's automatically it'll start to come out. So when it comes to ego bursting and ego boosting, you want to have a look at your behavior. How are you responding to things? And what we're really looking to do is we're looking to develop a thing called an empathy ego balance. So for example, let's say you are a salesperson and you want to develop an empathy ego balance. So this would be the example. Let's say there's a person sitting on a couch and they're just really down in the dumps, they're depressed. So an empathy ego balance would be where you sit down with them, sit on the couch with them, put your arm around them, spend a little bit of time with them, but at the end you say, you know what, let's stand up and let's get moving. So then you have your arm around them, you talk to them, you squeeze them, and then you stand up together. If you are a person that's a people pleaser, you're going to find that if you stay on the couch, you got two people down on the couch. And you'll get stuck there. So some of these people need an ego bursting, right? So some people need to be deflated so they can get that balance. And some people need to be inflated, so they need to be lifted up. I had this one client once that his goal was $100,000 a month. And I told him, I was like, well, what kind of car do you want? So I got to get this guy into a physical object or something. And he's like, oh, I think a Porsche or maybe a Land Rover. And I said, okay. I said, well, go test drive them, go do it. So he ended up buying a Land Rover. But when he started to set that goal and when he started to go look at the car, he started to get really afraid. He's like, well, I'm afraid, Dave. I said, why? He's like, I know I can do it, but every time I start to get success, I turn into this arrogant asshole and I start tearing all my own success down.
Right. He sabotages himself.
Yeah. And he said, what can I do? Because he got to the point, he was an ambitious guy that actually got to the point that he was afraid to set 30-day year goals. He was afraid to set because he would fall victim of, womanizing and stuff.
Right. Oh my God. I remember this. Yeah. This is all coming back.
And I said, well, don't let your ambition stop you from setting a 30-day year goal.
Right.
And if you turn into an a-hole again, you'll suffer. And that'll be that. And you'll continue to repeat the same thing over and over.
Isn't this interesting, Dave? This is so interesting because we always talk about goals as helping us grow, to reveal what we need to improve. So in this guy's situation, he goes cuckoo when he earns more money. He goes straight to his head. That's what he needs to work on. It's not to tell him to shrink back and not go for things. It's just revealing to him what he needs to work on. And that is incredible. That's amazing. What there's no better education than that. To be shown your shortcomings and where you need to step up, where you need to learn. It would be such a terrible thing if he gave up on himself and didn't continue to set goals, even if he did become an a-hole. But he's got to learn from that. Yeah, and he's got to figure out how to manage it.
That's right. So it's ambitious people that are afraid of success.
Yeah,
because they've tasted it. They became unbearable. Their life became crappy. They suffered because of that.
Yeah.
And now they're afraid to step out and go at it again.
Yeah.
So I think
interesting.
I think that 30-day year goal setting, 30-day year philosophy, it's not to find out how strong you are. It's actually to find out how weak you are.
Yeah.
I would have never known I had a self-worth problem if I would have never started to live.
How could Mr. Confidence have a self-worth problem?
Never knew. That's the reason that my income was stuck at $5,000 a month. Never knew.
Unreal. Amazing. Can you just leave us with one final thought on self-worth?
If you want to improve or at least find out where your self-worth is, go get yourself into environments that are going to really make you feel different. It'll reveal itself. You might have a woman that attracts like a great guy, and she's so used to guys that maybe aren't that great. And she'll be like, oh, am I worthy of this guy? Is he too good? It's not just in relationships. It's in your home. It's in how you travel, what you drive, the clothes you wear.
It's like what you tolerate.
Yeah, it's what you tolerate. So keep upgrading your physical world, not for materialism, because that's the worship of materials, not for just materialism, but do it to find out what's going on the inside. Because as you get put into different environments, you're going to start to get revealed. And circumstances don't make the person, they reveal them.
Thank you for listening to the 30-Day Year podcast. If you want more episodes like this, hit subscribe. And to learn more about us, visit conwaymentorship.com. If you have a question for Dave and I, please email us at hello@conwaymentorship.com. Before the next episode, sit down and take our self-worth challenge. Plan out a special evening out to your favorite restaurant or a place you've always wanted to go but never have. Upgrade a piece of furniture in your home. Book a first-class flight. Make the effort to put yourself into an environment that pushes what you're normally used to.
Produced at Sound Lounge by T-Bone.